Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Education System Reboot channel. I just wanted to do a video. It has been a year, give or take a week, since COVID, shutdowns, lockdowns, all the things COVID related started. And as a teacher, music teacher, it was a week before spring break that our schools were closed. And basically, for me personally, and I've also talked to many people in my circle network that have said similar things, but it has been the most productive year of my life in many ways. And I guess I just wanted to take an opportunity to kind of reflect on that and kind of try to articulate why that is, and just kind of, think back into the lessons I've learned over this year and how I think they are all applicable to teaching, and how we can better reboot the education system. So I'll just kind of start at the beginning. So this will be kind of a narrative format. So like most Americans, I focused on trying to, I guess, unwind, have some downtime. And during spring break, like many people, I would try to relax, but I wouldn't know how to. I would drink too much because it's like I think that's what society says we're supposed to do. I don't know. It's just one of those things. And then COVID, when you had the lockdown, I could see two distinct paths. I saw a path where, okay, well, school's going to be completely upended and we're going to have to teach online, and I can phone it in, and everything's, just everything's crazy. And the requirements are in essence less. And I could just, drink beer each night and relax and phone it in. And, I don't know how to explain it more than just say, and I saw that path, but I could see the net result. What would happen if I continue on that path? And then I said, I don't want that. And so what was the other path? Well, it's to use this time wisely. Now, let's just pause and say, of course, at the time, the 2-week freeze, I don't think many of us thought this would be lasting a year, if that, but here we are a year later. But what I decided, I said, I got to change something. And so I started a year-long journey at that point, not really knowing where I was going. So let me be clear. I had no destination in mind. I just knew that I needed to work on me. So a personal growth process started to evolve. And the first thing that happened is I said, okay, I need to develop a morning routine. And that needs to include exercise. So that was actually my first big goal, is to just start exercising daily, along with making my bed every day. I watched way back, I saw a video that's gone viral of an admiral that was giving a graduation speech. I want to say at the University of Texas, Austin. I don't remember 100%, but there was this, one of his first things is make your bed, right? Accomplish the first task of the morning, get things going. And so that was something I did, make my bed and work out. And I just said, no matter what else happens with COVID, no matter what, those are the two things that I'm going to make sure I do every morning. And then I'm going to try to over time evolve and improve in that area. Now, let me pause here. How is that connected to teaching? Well, in essence, that's what a lot of our kids are challenged with when they're struggling, is it's the initial step to do something, right? Action, right? Action overcomes fear. The idea that if we're fearful of the results, if we think to ourselves, oh, I'm afraid of the results, well, of course, right? We're living in fear. Whereas if you just take that action step, fear dissipates, because okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I have found through this year that things snowball, and once you start developing one habit, new habits are developed. So anyway, that's where that goes. So morning routine, it expanded, I guess. And I started, as part of my routine, I tried to make sure I started reading personal growth every day. Now, I'll be very clear, these are things I was doing a little bit before, but not as consistently as I would like. I was sometimes listening to audios. I was still trying to grow, but I didn't have it really ingrained in a habit, right? So the habit was really the key to success. All right. So again, this probably happened all the way through, the end of school. I was doing that. And basically by the end of school of last year and well into the summer, I was creating a consistent morning routine. and it was great. And I started to see the results. I mean, I felt healthier. I felt a more positive attitude. And then that snowballed into the idea of looking at kind of my bigger plan in life and goals, and starting to kind of create habits within reaching those goals. So in the last year, some of the things that I have done that have been music related and education related. So one of the other habits I started developing is I started composing more. Now, I've dabbled in composition for a while. I like it, but I would not consider myself a composer by training. But basically, around the same time where COVID, I think it was probably it was that week, I started feeling the desire, the need to express some of the stress, the frustration that was going on due to COVID and the lockdowns and everything, through music, through composition. And so over the last year, I have composed and arranged a lot of music, somewhere around 20 pieces of music. Some are arrangements of like church hymns. Some are original compositions. At one point, recently, about a month ago, I'd say, I finished a concerto for horn and strings, which again, it was an outgrowth, an offshoot of this whole process. The first thing I did was I composed something where I was just feeling gloomy. Like I was feeling the weight of the world. I was feeling the weight of COVID. And I composed a piece for string and horn. And I just said, I'm feeling gloomy. And I was like, all right, I'm going to write something gloomy. And when I got done with that, I thought, this was kind of nice. I mean, it helped me express what I was feeling. And then it got me thinking about, well, what if I expanded this? So I composed a piece called Moods, a concerto for horn and strings. And so it's a 5-movement work that expresses different moods. And those moods helped me kind of, again, deal with some of the emotional things that I'm dealing with. But it was a whole year-long process. I didn't just sit down and do it all. It's like I wrote a movement and I said, okay, now I've got this vision. Maybe a month went by without composing something else. And then I had an inspirational moment. I was like, ooh, I have an idea. I'm going to get this. Oh, this movement is going to be joy. So basically it was joy, gloominess or gloomy, anger, reflection, and contentment. And those are kind of the 5 things. And so, but what's neat about this is it's like I just started, right? Something in me needed to be expressed, and I started to do that. So this year I have composed a lot. So there's one area. In my own personal life, or not personal life, but personal music life, I have started we call it the Willamette Valley Horn Academy, but it's a kind of an online horn resource academy membership thing. And that's been going on for about 5 months. I created a website. I took all this stuff I've created and got it condensed in kind of repackaged onto this website. It motivated me to create more things. And so this was another area where I was just like improving towards a greater goal in my life. And I got in good practice habits, right? I was playing consistently. My French horn teaching, or teaching in general, has improved because every day I've got these established routines. I have all these kind of goals in line or outlined or in mind, right? These goals in mind. And I just keep following a simple formula of action. It's like, if you have something in mind, think about it, set a goal, and then just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then probably the last kind of big project that I started was this channel. And that's why I'm reflecting on this. So in 1 year, based on the fact of a simple decision a year ago, not to go down a path that I would have probably led to ruin. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind I would have been probably an alcoholic. I would have had a disastrous life. Luckily, as an intelligent person and someone who self-reflects, I could see that path and I did not want to go down it. But looking back after a year, I'm absolutely amazed. I'm humbled. I'm excited. Like there's so many emotions about the potential for the next year, the next 20 years, whatever that is. Friendships and relationships with my kids, all these things have grown and gotten better. And again, all of this kind of to start kind of making sense of this particular live stream is it all started with a single act of just making a decision of making my bed and working out every morning. That's it. And in a weird way, like, even if that's all I did in a year, I would have lost 35 pounds, which is how much I've lost. I started eating a little healthier. Like, I might not have been this productive, but it still would have been a better year than any previous year. And I think as teachers, we don't do the best job of explaining to kids the true why of education. It has nothing to do with dates and all that stuff. I mean, all those things are important because we need to know context of things. We need to know different subject areas. We should be well-rounded. But it's just the preparation. It's the building of habits that we are trying to set people up for success in their life. And I've said this several times in several other videos. By the time kids are out of high school, they still have at least 4/5 of their life to live. And so if we are not doing something to set them up with good habits over anything, habits more than subject content, I mean, the idea that they can organize their life and they understand the process of learning, okay, the process of learning, then we are not doing a good job. And I guess I feel humbled, like I said before, I feel humbled that I've been learning this lesson, and so that I am able to teach kids, mentor kids, provide perspectives that are universally applicable to growth, to improvement, to getting ahead in life, right? Now, have I achieved every goal I've set forth in a year? Of course not, right? And my goals have changed. Like, here's a perfect example. When I was younger, my goal was simply, I want to be a professional horn player. That kind of morphed into, I love teach, like I want to teach music, but focused on the horn. And then it kind of grew to look, well, I want to be a music educator. Now I look at my goals. I mean, I love teaching music, but I want to be a mentor. I want to actually have a bigger impact in the world of education than just music. Although I want to do that through music, if that's the desire. But it's almost like my purpose and my strengths and my passions have been evolving over these 40 years. And especially in this last year. And I'm seeing how there is potential for me to have a greater impact on the world, greater impact on students, greater impact on my kids, greater impact in general, because I'm growing, right? Another thing to think about that I think this whole year of reflection is important is there is kind of this narrative in the world that says people who get opportunities are lucky, right? There's this privilege to it. And although, like, I'm not trying to go political here, I'm just talking about what I can see and observe. That doesn't make sense to me, and here's why. Any person that becomes more of an expert in a field, any field, because they become an expert or grow in that area, by definition, if you think about it, more opportunities are going to present themselves. As a musician, if I get hired for a gig, right, and I lay it down and I play it, I play amazing, right? Now anybody, could be a person in the orchestra, it could be the conductor, it could be someone in the audience, whatever. It could be somebody that goes, ooh, that person played really well. I really liked what they did. And then an opportunity comes up. It's like, hey, I heard this guy play. He was awesome. You might want to consider hiring him. And your reputation, right? Performing at a consistently high level. That's what opens up opportunities, okay? Some people say, well, the rich just keep getting richer. Well, I would argue, if you want to have a kind of a philosophical debate on that, well, I would argue, well, the reason the rich get richer is the rich have discovered their process for creating wealth, and they continue to do it. And by continuing to do it, more opportunities by default will open up. But we do live in a society that allows for that opportunity wherever it's just out there. The opportunities are abundant. And I don't know, maybe it's the sportsman in me, it's the professional musician, but all of the things, all the training that I've had throughout my 40 years of life have shown me that nothing comes for free. Opportunities only come for those that are prepared, right? All my life, I've worked to become an overnight success, right? We see overnight success as, oh, they were just lucky. Well, no, because you're not going to get discovered unless you have some sort of talent, or you have actually tried to put in some, time and energy and effort into cultivating whatever that craft is. And then, yes, they might have been in the right place at the right time. That is true. That part, I think there is truth to that. But there's no way that you would be discovered if there wasn't a talent underneath, something that you've worked at. So when I think of this, to kind of wrap up, it's The biggest lesson this year has taught me is that consistent effort over time equals success. And if we can train and teach kids that it's what they do daily, right? It's the idea of holding themselves to a high standard consistently on a daily basis that ultimately is going to open the doors they need to be successful. It's ultimately going to let them find their passions, so that once they find their passions, instead of being broadly focused, they can be a little bit more narrowly focused. And then that narrow focus can create more opportunities. They can become more of an expert in that area. And the other part too is, and this is what why I'm so passionate about this, is almost everything in education. And I say almost because I'm sure there might be some exceptions. I can't think of them right now, but I'm sure there are. But almost everything in education and also in life is process oriented, right? If you adopt the correct process for working towards a goal, you will achieve that goal. And in simple terms, the art of educating yourself, the art of being a lifelong learner, education in general is a process, right? It's a system we need to plug into. And again, this is why we need to reboot the education system. We need to put an actual system or a process back into it so that kids can plug into it. They can learn, develop good habits. They can learn to be consistent. They can hold themselves to higher standards, and they do it throughout their whole career of education. So for 12, 13 years, if students are being taught the right process, the right standard, the right consistency, the right organizational habits, right, the right skills, then when they leave high school, they are going to be ready to tackle the world. And this is true, we do not know in 20 years what the jobs will be like, but what we can is we can prepare them for the process of learning, right? I'm not saying I'm going to go do this, but if I wanted to go learn coding right now, right, because my job became obsolete, I know I could do it because I understand the process. I understand the process of practice. I understand the process of baby steps. I understand the process of failing forward and how learning works. I understand the process of studying. I understand the process of being prepared for a moment, like a concert. If I play a concert, it's a moment in time. Maybe it was good, maybe it wasn't. What's the next thing? I reflect on it, and then I make a plan for the next, right? Because I understand the complete process of how to educate myself, I am technically prepared for what the world will throw at me. Okay. Now, there's many other aspects to this, but I hope this message has become clear. I just think this is really the foundation of why I'm making this channel. Is it's process over product. Now, that is a huge shift in mindset compared to what the education system is now. The system now is all about the product, the grades, the blah, blah, blah. Process, right? The right process over time will almost guarantee success, okay? I mean, because again, there's no certainties in the world, but I would rather be on that path. I would rather be on the path that focuses on the process over the product than product over everything, because then you're focusing on, again, the equality of opportunity, right? Everyone has the opportunity to grow if they follow this process. But if you're only focusing on this, you run into that problem of well, sorry, I'll pause because that's going a little political. I didn't mean to do that. I hope this message is coming clear. I don't know. It's been a year. For me personally, it's been one of the greatest years of my life. That doesn't mean it hasn't had some downsides. It doesn't mean there hasn't been some struggles emotionally, whatever. But my perspective has grown. And just 1 year of this, like if someone was able to teach me these things that I learned this year, not when I was 39, 40, but when I was 21 or 16, like the dreams I could be dreaming, the things that I could know that I could accomplish would be amazing. Now, I'm not living in regret. I don't have regrets. I just have a passion to say, all right, let's teach kids from an earlier age a better pathway to success. Isn't that what we're always preaching? We're always talking about the inequity and all this other stuff. Well, the answer is simple, but it's a long-term process. It's not an easy answer, but it's a simple one. Process over product. And as always, this was a longer one coming up on 20 minutes. So I'll leave you with, of course, consistent effort over time equal success. Have a great day. Have a great week. continue to move forward, fail forward, just keep consistent effort. Thank you very much.